arthroscopy of the ankle, diabetic foot care, structural deformities of the foot or ankle. The name says it all. Comprehensive Foot and Ankle can help. So if you have persistent pain in your feet or ankles, give Comprehensive Foot and Ankle a call at 797-3338. That's 797-3338. Office is located in Shepherdsville at the Jewish Hospital Medical Center and in Louisville at Norton Brownsboro Crossings behind Cabela's across from Costco. Call for an appointment today at 797-3338.
On April 25th, Southern Seminary would like to invite you to join Dr. Al Mohler and special guest, veteran political journalist Cal Thomas, as they discuss God and politics. Come and learn from two leading national voices as they seek to help the church and the Christian understand how to navigate this nation's changing political landscape. God and Politics, April 25th. Admission is free, so register today at events@southern.com.
Thinking about life insurance? What if you could make one free phone call and learn your best price from nearly a dozen highly rated, price-competitive companies? Well, that's exactly what happens when you call SelectQuote Life. For example, George is 40. He was getting sky-high quotes from other companies because he takes meds to control his blood pressure. But when I shopped around, I found him a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $28 a month. I'm SelectQuote agent Dan Savino, and believe me, if SelectQuote isn't shopping for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 1-800-509-1667. That's 1-800-509-1667. 1-800-509-1667. Or go to SelectQuote.com. Since 1985, we shop. You save. Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your price can vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors not available in all states.
So, we've been saddled with the impossible task of telling you all the things your new WFIA app can do. Ready? Stream with a touch of a button. Go to our webpage, our Facebook, our Twitter. Shop Hourly.club with a touch of a button. Send us emails instantly. Send us voice messages instantly. Call us with one touch. Take an instant poll with one touch. Scroll through and listen to one of our podcasts. Get live feeds from Christian headlines, from daily devotionals, national ministries, and more. But we're out of time. You know, you can get it all free right now from WFIAFM.com. You're listening to Just Ask Joyce on WFIA, The Spirit.
Thank you so much for joining me today. A very interesting interview with Richard Greenberg, who is the Common Sense Dad. And I'm sure that many of you have seen him featured in USA Today magazine, on CBS News, and, of course, Fox News Channel, Sirius, and other media. And we thank you for setting aside some time to talk about kids and how we should discipline them. But your book, Raising Children Who Other People like to be around. And, you know, that's so interesting because when you go into restaurants, you sometimes don't like to be around other people's kids because they are so unruly, Richard. They just are. Listen, they're in charge of the parents. The parents are not in charge of them.
Right. And, you know, when I used to observe that, I would say to Joanne, I don't understand why people let their children behave like that. It's just completely unacceptable. And she would say, they don't know what to do. And I said, well, I'm going to write an owner's manual, you know, because people say your kids don't come with an owner's manual. So I said, well, I'm going to write an owner's manual for having kids. And I first set out to write it like a car owner's manual, you know, welcome to your new child. You'll find that these are the features your child has. But I decided that was, A, a little too cute, and B, I couldn't get through the troubleshooting section where it was like your child is crying. You know, there were so many variables. So I ended up writing a book, and I based it on the word SMART. So S for set an example, M for make the rules, A for apply the rules, R for respect yourself, and T for teach in everything that you do. So that first rule, that first thing to do, setting an example, that's about having expectations of yourself and therefore having expectations of your children. But learning how to define your values as a person and as a parent. What matters to me in my family? And as I mentioned earlier, what mattered to us as the most important things were that our children be respectful, that they be honest, that they be grateful, and that they be kind to other people. So we made the decision that those were going to be our values. And then once we decided that those were our values, then we applied that to making our rules. And our rules were basically run through that as a filter. So if make your bed every day is a rule, how does that fit into those 4 values? One of those values wasn't neatness. Now living in a nice, clean house is something you teach your children to do by setting the example of cleaning up and making your own bed. And so over time, and by the way, I did this by looking at my own childhood and Joanne looking at her childhood. Mm-hmm. And my book has in it a questionnaire that parents can ask each other about how they felt. And there's questions about, what were the things that made you feel the best that your parents did for you? And what were the things that made you feel the worst? And maybe spanking would come up on that list, but I don't know, and it didn't come up on ours until it came time to have to do something with our children. But getting back to applying those rules, that's where the spanking comes in. And if your children are disrespectful in our house or they were lying, we had another, we didn't ever punish anyone corporally for lying. We taught them how to be comfortable telling the truth. And we gave them a vehicle for telling us the truth that would allow them to fess up without getting a punishment. But they had to ask for permission. They had to say, can I have an armistice? And an armistice meant that we weren't going to punish them before we heard their side of the story and took into account what they said the problem was. And then if I asked for an armistice and my parents gave me one, they would always say at the end, so what did you learn here? And I would say, I should not throw my metal airplane in the living room and break a lamp. And they said, exactly. How should you be punished? I said, well, I'll take out the trash every day for the rest of my life. And they would say, well, you're already supposed to take out the trash. Why don't you wash your father's car this weekend? Okay. And they always came up with a much more reasonable punishment than the one I had thought of. And so we have applying the rules and then respecting yourself as a parent. You just said it, that parents in a restaurant let their kids boss them around. And the fact is that kids aren't prepared to boss their parents around, and it makes those kids uncomfortable to have that much power. And that's why they misbehave so much, because they want somebody to say, stop, don't do that anymore. We care about the way you behave. That means we love you. And so respect is a very important part from a parent's point of view. Our now 20-year-old daughter, when she was 15, her very good friend got his driver's license in the state of California. And in California, you can't drive another kid who's under your 16 in your car until you've had your license for 6 months. But the day he got his license, he called her and said, hey, let's go get some ice cream. And she said, my mom won't let me ride in the car with you, but I'd love it if you'd bring me some ice cream. And so the boy brought her some ice cream, and he brought with him her little friend, Allie. And when Allie came in, my daughter said, Allie, why are you riding with Jordan? He just got his driver's license. And literally, Allie said, my mom doesn't love me as much as your mom loves you. She said it was okay for me to go with him.
Wow. Well, we're going to come back. Can you stick around and give us the teach
Sure.
rules? And we also want to get some tips on dealing with temper tantrums.
Okay.
I think you've got some of those.
I do.
All right. Guys, don't go away. We're going to come back and we're going to visit again with Richard Greenberg, author of Raising Children That Other People Like to Be Around. Don't go away. There's more today on Just Ask Joyce. We'll be back after this short break.
WFIA, The Spirit.
This TV is now on WKYI TV. This is MGM's #1 digital movie network. And this has a new home on WKYI TV 24. Thousands of hit movies and great local programming as well. You can watch this on digital over-the-air channel 24.1, Time Warner Cable channel 138, and Uverse channel 24. This TV is now on WKYI TV.
It's like the rebirth the world feels during spring. The new life when there was none, in the hope of real growth and wonder, like the kind of wonder of joining Alistair Begg on a magnificent Mediterranean journey.
Have you ever wondered what it would have been like to travel the dynamic missionary journeys of the Apostle Paul, to see for yourself the sights of the early Christian church? This is Alistair Begg, inviting you to join me this fall on the footsteps of the Apostles' Mediterranean cruise. Together, we'll encounter the sights of the early church like never before, with wonderful stops in Rome, Naples, Jerusalem, Athens, and more.
It's an unforgettable 15 days on 2 continents, sailing on one of the newest cruise ships, the beautiful Silhouette.
And we'll experience the magnificent Sistine Chapel, the historic Western Wall in Jerusalem, the beautiful Greek island of Santorini, and much more in luxurious accommodations over the pristine waters of the Mediterranean.
Get more information at WFIAFM.com and click on the Footsteps of the Apostles banner.
Do you love golf and want to help out special needs kids? Well, now you can do both. Be part of the 7th Annual Pitt Academy Charity Golf Scramble on Monday, May 23rd at Wildwood Country Club. Pitt Academy is a fully accredited nonprofit school serving students grades K through 12 with intellectual disabilities and learning differences. And being a part of this fun golf scramble helps these kids reach their full academic and social potential. For more info, go to PITT.com or call 502-966-6979.
This is Tony Evans, and God wants your vote to count. Are you struggling with who to vote for this upcoming election season? Well, God has written the voting rules within His Word, and I'm sure you'll be surprised at what He says. During this season, when people are deciding who to vote for and how to vote, you need to understand that you cannot have any ultimate allegiance to any of the 2 teams because neither team is going to be perfect in their point of view. Your job is to represent another king and another kingdom. So if you're a Democrat, you can only be Democrat light, L-I-T-E. And if you're Republican, you can only be Republican light, L-I-T-E, because God expects you to bring to either one the L-I-G-H-T. Unlock the biblical principles behind voting and the purpose God has for governance in my new book, How Should Christians Vote? We've partnered with Salem to bring you this great offer. Get your free copy of How Should Christians Vote.
To get your free copy of How Should Christians Vote, get to WFIAFM.com and enter keyword VOTE. That's WFIAFM.com, keyword VOTE.
You're listening to Just Ask Joyce on WFIA, The Spirit.
Thank you so much for joining me today. We're talking with author Richard Greenberg, who has written the book Raising Children That Other People Like to Be Around, and he has written it from the SMART aspect. S, set example. M, make rules. A, apply rules. R, respect yourself. And T, teach the rules. So, Richard, pick back up where we left off with teach the rules and tell us how we do apply them.
Okay, so teaching really has to do with the fact that every single thing we do as a parent is teaching our child how to be an adult and how to live in a family and how to be courteous to other people. So when we go to the market, if we don't put the shopping cart away, we're teaching our child not to do that. If we cross the street in the middle and we cause cars to stop, we're teaching our children to jaywalk. So really, I'd rather be on the much more positive side of that, which is I try to think of things that I'm going to be teaching my children, even though one isn't saying, hey, watch, I'm putting the shopping cart away. So you put the shopping cart away, you pick up some trash, and you put it in the trash can just because the trash shouldn't be laying on the ground. And this is the way that our children model our behavior. And the fact is that, I would say that 70% of who your child becomes is who you are. And that's a really interesting observation that I've made over the years, is that I've watched kids and I've seen them sort of go a little bit around the corner on their teen years, and they'll dye their hair or they'll get a piercing or they'll do something semi-crazy. And then they come back around, and all of a sudden, if they had hardworking parents who cared about what was happening in the world, who were sensitive to other people, then those kids became the same kind of person their parents were. And it's always been a very big comfort to me that, when I watch a kid who I know the parents are very, straightforward and hardworking, and, some would complain, well, the guy's dad's a workaholic, or, her dad was never around because he was always at the office. Yeah, everybody has something they've got to work through. But the bottom line is that if you try to live a virtuous life and you can model that for your children, you will have children who seek to live a virtuous life because they want to be. The key is to have your child want to be like you are. The key is to go through your life so that people say to your children, oh, I know your mom and dad. They're great. We really like them a lot. They're very helpful, and Daddy have a temper tantrum. This isn't the way we communicate in our family. So calm down and let's talk about what you're upset about. Let's talk about it and just calm down. And the key to that is staying calm, not getting angry, because that only magnifies that tantrum. And once the child is calm, then you say, what's going on? What is it that you're so upset about? And once you are engaging them in a conversation and they've settled down from that tantrum, you are 90% of the way through having dealt with it. And then the answer is, well, we're going to do that later. The tantrum is not going to get you what you want. The ultimate message is having a tantrum isn't going to get you what you want. Mm-hmm. It's a very important message. Absolutely. Because that will keep them from having the next tantrum.
Amen. And so corporal punishment in school, I know we started off talking about this, but it has really gotten out of control. I think not the corporal punishment, kids' behavior.
Right.
And, you see on television these videos of these kids attacking the teachers. And I'm thinking, what are we rearing?
Well, we have a problem with parents who aren't taking responsibility for the behavior of their children, and people